Like I said yesterday, try to have a calculator handy because that's what you're going to be using a lot of. So, first question: what's the price? What price is closest to the cost of gallon of water that Alan used? So he used 1,600 cubic feet, right? And every cubic foot is 7.48 gallons of water. So let's see how much 1,600 cubic feet times 7.48. So 1,600 cubic feet of water. So if I multiply those two times 7.48, that means in gallons, that's 11,968 gallons. Right, so we want to know the price per gallon, so we want the unit rate. Right, so we know that all that, so he paid, so let's write that. So he paid $34.80 for 11,968 gallons. Right, so that's what we needed to find out first. And then we want the price per gallon. Well, right, let's find the unit rate. Right, so we can divide this by 11,968 and divide the top by 11,968, and we're going to get approximately 0.0029, which shows up right here. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do it side by side. Well, fine, I'll come back. 2. Michelle bought the same fabric on 3 different occasions. I recorded data below. What was the price per yard of fabric? So obviously the price is not going to change, right? So we can find the constant proportionality or the unit rate. So assuming that the store didn't change price on her 3 different occasions, this is X and this is Y, right? So let's pick, I don't know, let's pick the middle one just to be different. So $4.14 for 3.6 yards of fabric. You want to find the unit rate, right, or the constant proportionality in this case. 1 yard. How do we get from here to here? We divide by 3.6, and the top we divide by 3.6. Right, so 4.14 divided by 3.6 gives us, hang on a second, 4.14 divided by 3.6 equals $1.50. Okay. Just to be sure, I'm going to do one more just to see if they didn't, to make sure that the store didn't change any price. So let's do 483 and 4.2 yards. Hana video mandar고 있어. And then again we do the whole process again. This becomes 1 yard, right? So we're basically dividing 483 by 4.2, and look at that, we get 1.15 again. So that is the price per yard. So the store didn't change the price on her 3 different visits. Right, so the answer is C. 3, no, 3 goes up here. Water comes out of the garden hose at a rate of 1 gallon, at 1/4 of a minute was the unit rate at which water flows out of gallons hose. So we want the unit rate per minute, right? Let's write what's given to us as a fraction here. 1 gallon of water every 1/4 of a minute. Right. And we want to change this to 1 minute, right? Because we want the unit rate. All right. Okay, so how do we get from here to here? We can divide by 1/4 and multiply by the reciprocal, which is 4, so whichever one you choose is fine. I'll divide that by 1/4 and multiply by 4. Divide that by 1/4, and we're going to get that it's going to be 4 gallons per minute. Gallons per minute. Okay, so the answer is C. 4, John ran 1.5 laps in 2 minutes. What's the how many laps did John run on average per minute. So again, the unit rate. Again, this one is a little bit simpler, right? But I'll go through the whole process. So 1 and 1/4 lap in 2 minutes. The unit rate is in 1 minute, right? We want to find out how many laps. 1 minute. So you notice that the unit rate in this case is half of 2 minutes, right? So we just got to divide top and bottom by 2. So you divide 1 and 1/4 divided by 2, we get 0. Well, as a decimal, we get 0.625, which as a decimal is decimal is 0.625, which as a fraction is 5/8. So 5/8 of a lap in 1 minute. So again, in your calculator, you would divide this by 2. 2 divided by 2 gives you the 1, and divide the top by the same, right? Remember. And 1 and 1/4 divided by 2 is 5/8 of a lap. Okay. Now again, just proportions. Recipe calls for what 2/3 cups of butter to make 2.5 cups of sauce. What would the amount of butter needed to make 10 cups of sauce? Okay, so we can again set up our proportion. 2/3 cups of butter. So let's write that. So you need 2/3 cups of butter, and every time you use that, you use 2.5 cups of sauce. That's our ratio right now. So they're asking us what happens when we increase the sauce to 10 cups of sauce. How much butter do we need? A lot more, right? Well, you can find the unit rate first, or you can just simply figure out, hey, 2.5 times what gives me 10? Or I don't know how you did it in class, or if you put x over here, you can cross multiply. All right, so I'll do it in 2 ways. Let me do it this way, where we cross multiply, and where we don't. So if we don't cross multiply, you're looking for this number here. 2.5 times what equals 10, right? So think about this. 2.5 times this number here equals 10. So how can we use, remember, fact families, right, to figure out this missing number, right? This missing number over here. So we can divide 10 divided by 2.5 to give us that mystery number, right? So 10 divided by 2.5, and that mystery number is 4. So the sauce was increased by a factor of 4. So if I increase the sauce by a factor of 4, guess what? I'm going to have to increase my butter by a factor of 4. I'll multiply that by 4. So we multiply 2/3 times 4, we get 8/3, right? 2 times 4 is 8, and we get 8/3, which I'm going to simplify that to 2 and 2/3. And that's how much, 2 and 2/3, and that's how much butter we need. Oh, look, it's right here. Now, you could have done that, or if you didn't want to, you could have cross multiply. If you cross multiply, you get 2.5. Right, you multiply this, 2.5x. And over here, you get 2/3 times 10, which is 20. I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction, 20/3. We can just divide top and bottom by 2.5. Right? That's the process we're going to go through. This goes away, and you can put that in your calculator, which is 20/3 divided by 2.5. Okay. And then hopefully, pretty sure you would get the same answer. Okay. But I probably think this is a little bit easier. Okay. Says Megan mixes 2 2/3 cups of almonds to make 4 cups of trail mix. Using this proportion, how many cups of almonds would Megan need to make 9 cups of trail mix? All right, so 2/3. Let me write 2/3 of almonds, cups of almonds, and you can make 4 cups of trail mix. All right, 4 trail mix. If you want to make 9 cups of trail mix, how many cups of almonds do you need? So here we go. And again, same thing like the previous problem, right? We can look for that multiplier. 4 times what will give you 9. right? And then use that same multiplier on the top. You can cross multiply if you like. So now again, how do we figure out what this number is, what that multiplies? So think about what's happening here. 4 times some number equals 9. And in order to find that number, what can we do? We can just divide 9 divided by 4, right? 9 divided by 4 is just 9 over 4. We'll keep it as a fraction. So 4 times 9 over 4. Right, so think about what happens when I multiply 4 times 9 over 4. This and this one simplifies to 1, and 1 times 9 equals 9. That's how I get this 9 over here. So top, same thing, 9 over 4, and then 2/3, and I'll just do it by hand, 2/3 times 9 over 4. That simplifies, and that becomes 3 over 2. 3 over 2. Our answer becomes 3 over 2, or 1 1/2. We have that. Yeah, we have it right here. Okay. 7. Jeffrey typed 110 words in 2 3/4 of a minute. Now, if you don't like that and you want to put that as a what do you call it? As a decimal, you can. Right, for this one, I will. So we want to find out if he types 110 words in 2.75 of a minute, how many words can he type in 4 1/4, which would be 4.25 of a minute, 1/4 of a minute. So that's, we're looking for this. This is our mystery number that we're looking for. So again, look for that. Look for that. Or in this case, because I changed it to a, what do you call a decimal, let's switch it up a little bit. I can cross multiply. So I can cross multiply these two, and I get 2.75x. Cross multiply these two. Let me figure that out. 110 times 4.25 equals 465.5. We want to isolate x now, right? So we're going to divide this by 275, divide this by 275. That goes away, and because it simplifies to 1, and 467.5 divided by 2.75 equals 170 words. So there is our answer right there. Okay, recipe. Uses 3 1/5 ounces of fruit mix to make 4 glasses of punch. How many glasses of this punch can we make for 32 ounces? 32 ounce bottle of fruit mix. Okay, so, and again, we have 3 1/5 ounces makes 4 glasses. Oops. 4 glasses. We want to know how many glasses are needed if I use 32 ounces. Okay, so this is x over here. So, once again, you can find a relationship, right? And instead of 3 1/5, right? Because that's, I can use 3.2. So if you take 1/5 and divide 1 divided by 5, you get 0.2. Because it was 3 1/5, that becomes 3.2. So this becomes 3.2 ounces. All right, so I wouldn't, in this case, cross multiply. Look, there's a very easy relationship here. How does 3.2 become 32? Well, times 10, right? So therefore, the bottom is going to use the same multiplier, right? We increase by a factor of 10, so the bottom will increase by a factor of 10, so that would be times 10. So 4 times 10 is 40. So with 32 ounces, you can make 40 glasses. 9. Making a snack for a field trip. Okay. Raisins, chocolates, and candy. So we got raisin, chocolate candy, and peanut, the ratio of 2. Okay, so I'm going to write 2 raisins to 2 chocolate to 3 peanuts. Okay. And then if Mr. Answer makes 42 cups of the snack, okay, so raisins, chocolate, peanuts. Well, what's the total here? Well, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 3, so we have a 7 total here. So when we use 2 raisins, 2 chocolate, and 3 peanuts, we have a total of 7. So what you're saying is, what happens when your total happens to be 42? Well, this one, again, we can find a relationship here, right? With the total from the original to the total from the new total, which is 42. So what did the old total to the new total increase by? Well, by 6, which means everybody is going to be increased by a factor of 6 times 6 times 6. So the 2 raisins times 6 now become 12. The 2 chocolates times 6 now become 12 as well. And the 3 peanuts times 6 becomes 18. Well, another way you can confirm if it's correct, well, add 12 and 12, which is 24. And then 24 plus 18. Does it give you 42? Yeah. Do we have 42 here? Oh, 18. There you go. So the answer, we're not looking for the new total, we're looking for this actually. Right, so which is 18. There we go. Where am I going next? 10. The length of 3 sides of a triangle. So here's a triangle. 3, 4. Ugh. Yeah, I'm going to draw 3, 4, and 5. Let's go 3, 4, and 5. The perimeter of the triangle. And the perimeter of the triangle is 48 inches. The length of the longest side of the triangle is okay. So again, let's call short side, middle side, and the long side. Right. So come on, the long side. Right. So 3, the middle one's 4, the long one's 5. So in this case, what will be the perimeter? 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 would be 12, right? So here's my total. Now what happens when the perimeter changes to 48? Right? What would be the long side? What would be the middle? And what would be the short side? So that's what we're looking for, right? So again, look at that relationship. What did it increase by? Well, it increased by a factor of 4. I'm going to multiply everything by 4. Times 4, 4, times 4. So on the new triangle, the short side will be 12. The middle side will be 4 times 4 is 16. And the long side, 5 times 4 would be 20. Well, add these 3 up. Do we get 48? 12 and 16 is 28. 28 and 20 is 48. So and we want the longest side? Well, the longest side is 20. It's not about 20 minutes. A mix of aqua color paint requires 5 paints of blue. Hang on, 5 blue, 4 white, 3 and 3 yellow. Right, so to make aqua, you need to make all those 3. Painter wants to make 20 pints of aqua paint. How much yellow paint should she use? All right, so right now in this mix, right, the ratio 5, 4, and 3, we can make, we have a total of, what is this? 12, right, 12 total, aqua. So if we change that 12 to 20, right, how much yellow we're gonna need? Right, so if you make a bigger batch and you want to make 20 pints, how much of each would you need? Well, how did the 12 become a 20? Well, find that relationship, right? 12 to 20. So we can just do 20 divided by 12, right? Which is 1.66, or we're actually going to use a fraction here. So 1 and 2/3. So if you did 12 divided by 12, 20 divided by 12 in your calculator, right, you're going to get 1.66 rotation. So instead of using 1.66, you can change it to a fraction, right? And use 1 and 2/3. So now you know that everything is times 1 and 2/3, times 1 and 2/3, times 1 and 2/3. So hopefully this works. Which actually, well, yeah, let's just use 1 and 2/3. I don't want to confuse. Now, the better option actually would have been to change and use 5/3, right? Makes life much easier. So 1 and 2/3 of 5/3. Okay, so yellow, if you multiply 3 times 1 and 2/3, you get 5. You get 4 multiplied by 1 and 2/3. Hang on a second. You would get 6 and 2/3. And then if you get 5 times 2/3, 5 times 1 and 2/3, you would get 8 and 1/3. So if you add all these, you should get 20. And you do, because 8 plus 6 is 14, 14 plus 5 is 19, and then 1/3 and 2/3 is 1, right? And then the 19 plus 1 gives you 20. So the answer we want is actually 5. So you would need 5 pints of yellow. 12, the ratio of the size in the isosceles trapezoid is 3 to 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. This is 3. Three to 2 to 3 to 4. I'm going to say, hang on a second. Actually, I don't need that. I need to just set up my ratio so we can go 3 to 2 to 3 to 4, right? So in this, and then I can make a total here. So right now, I have 3, 5, 5 plus 6, 11. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys, I made a mistake. This should be 4 right here. Right? So we have these sides of the trapezoid. Our perimeter would be 3 and 3, 6. This 4 is 10, so we have a total of 12. Right? So if we change that perimeter from 12 to 72 and maintain that ratio, what would that 4 become? What would that 3 become? What would that 2 become? And what would that 3 become? Well, what's that multiplier? Well, the relationship is times 6. So this would be times 6. This would be times 6. Times 6. Times 6. So we get the longest side that's actually 24. The other side would be 18. The other side would be 12. The other side would be 18. So the longest side would be 24. 13. Total race of 8,000 runners. 3/16 of the runner finished the race in less than 4 hours. Okay, 0.65 of the runners finished the race in 4 more hours. The rest of the runners did not finish the race. Calculate the number of runners will finish the race in less than 4 hours. Well, the number of runners that finished the race in less than 4 hours is this one, right? So it'd be 3/16 of 8,000, right? So 3/16 of 8,000, if you put that in your calculator times 8,000, we would get that 1,500 runners, 1,500 finished the race in less than 4 hours. So that would be A. B, calculate numbers who did not finish the race. Well, these guys finished the race. Let's see, 0.65. So let's get 0.65, finish the race in 4 more hours. So let's multiply that by 8,000, see how many runners that is. So 0.65 times 8,000 is 5,200. So we have those who finish in less than 4 hours, which is 1,500. Those who finish in more than 4 hours, which is 5,200. Let's add those up. We get 6,700. So I'm assuming that the difference, right, the 8,000 that started minus the 6,700 that started at finishing less than 4 and more than 4, that leaves us with 1,300 runners, and those are the ones that did not finish the race. Okay. 13, oh yeah, there we go, 14. Oh, we got a little bit of percents now. T-shirts, $25.99. It's 40% off with an additional 25. Round to nearest cent. What is the price paid by the customer? So, all right, there's no taxes yet, so let's do this one. If it's 40% off, that means you have to pay for 60%, and then another 25% off. That leaves you with 75%. So let's multiply that. 25.99 times 0.6 times 0.75. So the price of your T-shirt goes all the way down to $11.70. What would the customer have paid if this shirt were sold at a one-time reduction of 65%? Well, if it was just a one-time, let's multiply it by reduction of 0.65. I'm sorry. So if it's a reduction of 65%, then I'm left with 35% to pay for, right? That's what I have to pay after 65% reduction. 99 times 0.35, then I would have to pay $9.10. And then, why didn't the store simply sell this shirt at 65% off the original? Well, the original ticker price. Hang on a second. Well, because by doing this, right, by doing that, the store was able to sell it at a higher price than just, than selling it at a discount of 65% off the bat. Personally, I think people like this, right? Hey, you have 40% off, and then on top of that, we'll give you another 25%, right? I think people get or believe that they get a bigger discount, which is of course not true. You get a bigger discount when 65% is taken right off the bat. Okay, you'll see. Go to Macy's, go to Target. Sometimes they say, "Hey, 25%." Then on top of it, we'll give you another 15% off. All right, 15. The original price of the jacket was 30. Right. Glenn sells clothing store. The original price of the jacket was 30. He increased the price by 10%. What is the new price of the jacket after the increase? Sure, explain how you got the answer, right? All right. So here is the price of the jacket times an increase. So remember, if it's increase of it's an increase of 10%, we're actually going to multiply that by 1.10, right? Which is 100 plus 10, 110%. Change that to a decimal, we get 1.10. So 30 times 1.10 gives you 33. So there's the price of the jacket after a 10% increase. The original price of a pair of sneakers was 50. Glenn increased the price by 20 in April, increased the price by 20 in April. What the heck? Hang on a second. He then increased the price again by 20% in July. So I'm pretty sure. I don't know why it's paper in April again. What's the new price of the sneakers after both increases? I'm going to say that this is probably a typo, right? Because the question here says, what's the new price of the sneakers after both increases? So there should be 1, 2. Sure, explain how you got your answer. All right, so sneaker was 50. After the first increase, if you multiply by the first increase, that's what we would those would be the two numbers we multiply. right? And then on top of that, right, there's a second increase. You multiply that by 120 again. So it would be 50 times 1.2 times 1.2. That's going to take the shoe to $72. Okay. C, the original price of the shirt. We're going to skip that because I don't see anything. 16. Leo worked 22 and a half hours to earn $9.48 and earns $9.48 per hour. Okay. What's the amount of money does learning explanation? Okay. What amount of money does Leo earn each week? Well, 22.5, multiply that by how much he gets paid. So 22.5 times 9.48 equals, so he takes home, well, before taxes, $213.30. Each week, $25.60 is taken out of Leo's earnings for taxes. Right? What percent is taken out for taxes? So let's see how much he has left over. So if you take 213.30, subtract 25.6, you get, he takes home $187.7 after taxes. All right, so there's a couple of ways of doing this. You can do percent change. So if you do percent change, you can do new minus, so remember, new minus old over old. So the new one, right after taxes, the new, what he's taking home, his check changed to 187.70. The old check was 213.30. And then we're going to divide that by the old, so 213.30. So let's figure out what that is going to be. 187.7 minus 2.3, enter, divide that by 213.3, and we get that his taxes comes out to, well, 0.12, and then we multiply that by 100, and it becomes 12%. Okay. And another way you could have done that is say that 25.60 is what percent, right? So if you write up the question, 25.60 is what percent of 213.30, right? So you could have used a percent proportion, you could have used a percent equation. Let me erase this for some room. So I think a lot of, oh no, sorry, hang on guys. Yes. All right, so I think it was 12%, right? So, sorry, the program froze. Oh no, I have to do everything again. Jeez. Okay, so again, 22.5 hours times $9.48. Let's figure out how much he takes a week. 22.5 times 9.48. He takes home $213. $213.30. Okay. Taxes. So if you take that, subtract taxes, 25.60. He takes home after taxes. So right after taxes, he takes home $187.70. Right. So you were asked to find out what was the percentage of taxes. So you can do percent of change, and we found out that was 12%. You could have also done set up an equation, or at least a question. 25.60 is what percent of 213.30? If you set up a percent proportion, which you could have, that's 100, right? 2560 is the part. The total was 213.30, and the percent is what we're looking for. That would have been x. Now, again, this one you can cross multiply. It's so much easier. 213.30x, 25.60 times 100. It's going to be 2,560, right? Cross multiply again. Let me show you cross multiply, cross multiply. And divide both sides by 213.30. That simplifies to 1. X equals divided by 213.30 equals, oh, look at that, 12% again. Okay. And then last question. Leo wants to buy a car that costs 3,000. Plans to say, well, what is the minimum number of hours that Leo must work in order to save 3,000? So Leo wants to earn, so this goes back to our inequalities. Whatever he earns has to be greater or equal to 3,000. Okay. What's the minimum number of hours that he has to work? Well, it'd be 9.48, which is how much he makes around, times a certain amount of hours, right? These two multiplied. Yes. Wait, hang on a second. Do I have to consider taxes? Ugh. I'm going to pretend there's no taxes here, okay? So 9.48 times x. Let's divide both sides by 9.48. This answer is going to be inaccurate because I'm not considering taxes. So 3,000 divided by 9.48 equals, he has to work. So x equals, the number of hours he has to work equals to 316. I'm going to round this 46. So 316.46 hours in order to buy the car. Divided by 1948. Yep, 316. 316 times 1948. Yep. Okay. Final answer. All right, that's A2.